Hey, thanks for being here. I'm Clara Newman. Today's Tech Talk starts with tariffs and how they're quietly shaping your options at the dealership for consumers. I believe chances are pretty high that many people will make the switch over the next few years, and I can give you 7 reasons why. But first, I want to explain what tariffs are, just so that we are on the same page. So, tariffs are just taxes on stuff coming in from other countries. When governments add them, prices typically go up and somebody always pays. At the end of the day, it is usually the consumer that pays because companies pass the expenses onto the final price of the product. Right now, the US says this is all about protection. But regular people are asking a simpler question. Why does a new car cost this much when cheaper ones clearly exist and they are coming across the border? Canada just cracked under heavy pressure from China and opened the door to cheaper E.V.s. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not here to praise China, and this isn't about Canada's politics. I will likely save that for another video. It's about what happens next. Because when affordable electric vehicles show up right next door, the pressure doesn't stop at the border. It spreads through auto prices in the US. Our supply chains and even the expectations of consumers will increase as well. So if you don't think that you will be in an EV in the next few years, this video is designed to challenge that. Reason number 1. Competition. For a long time, automakers didn't rush to make truly affordable electric vehicles, and tariffs helped protect them from cheaper competition. So prices stayed high and consumers paid for it. Here's the simple part. If Canadians can buy solid electric vehicles for a lot less, that price becomes the new normal to many consumers. So it doesn't matter who built the car or where it came from. As long as the quality and price meet expectations, the electric vehicles from China will likely be purchased. And those comparisons don't stop at the border. Americans will likely start asking one really annoying question to the automakers here in the States. Why am I paying $50,000 here when a similar electric car costs way less right next door? That's where Chinese companies like BYD, which stands for Build Your Own Dreams, enter the conversation. They build affordable electric vehicles overseas, some priced way lower than what Americans are used to seeing. Some of the good quality but affordable models range from 11,000 US dollars to just over 15,000 US dollars. Now, don't get too excited. Those are overseas prices. Once you add tariffs, rules, shipping, and paperwork, the price goes up. But here's the problem for US automakers. Even after all that, those vehicles still offer features comparable to cars like the Tesla Model 3 at much lower prices. And once people know that, the power really switches to you, the consumer. Those cars don't even have to be sold here in the States to matter. The comparison alone puts pressure on prices, expectations, and patience. So reason 1 is simple. Once Americans see that affordable electric vehicles exist so close to home, paying luxury level prices starts to feel optional, not inevitable. And that's where everything starts to crack in the favor of consumers in America. Reason 2, US automakers will get squeezed. Here's what people miss. Canada isn't a separate car market. Prices move together. So if cheaper electric vehicles start showing up there, Americans start seeing the comparison fast. And once that happens, expectations change. People walk into dealerships already thinking, why am I paying more for less? That's how wanting an electric vehicle starts, not because of politics or hype, but because the numbers for consumers stop making sense. And once affordability enters the conversation, it's really hard to go back. This isn't theoretical. CBC Canada reported that Canada's deal allows up to 49,000 Chinese vehicles per year at a 6.1% tariff, with half the quota reserved for vehicles under 35,000 Canadian dollars. That's basically a neon sign pointing at entry-level buyers. So basically, it gives the consumer more leverage. And that is very good for you. Now, automakers have options, but none of them are really good long-term. See, they can lobby for more tariffs in the US, but that has little effect on the global scale. They can keep prices high, but as we are seeing now, car sales have slowed down the past 2 years, so that option will be a challenge. They can also focus on providing higher trim and higher price vehicles, but that too is a risky move in the current economy. Basically, I concluded that it is in their best interest to bring prices down. Reason 3, the used car domino effect. Don't forget about the used car market. No, brand new electric vehicles aren't suddenly flooding US used lots overnight. That will likely take some time. But if Canadians can buy more affordable EVs, they may decide to trade in and upgrade faster. They move out of older cars into cheaper, more efficient ones with better features. That pushes more cars into Canada's used market. And when supply goes up, prices come down. Of course, there is some nuance to this, but now here's the important part. Those prices don't stay locked behind a border. Dealers watch each other. Buyers compare listings. Border states will likely feel it first. So even if the US blocks the front door, the used car market starts sending a quiet message. These vehicles don't actually have to cost this much. And once buyers realize that, wanting an electric vehicle stops being a political choice, it becomes a financially smart one. Reason 4, the supply chain side door. Don't forget, electric vehicles aren't just cars. They're batteries, parts, and materials. So even if the US blocks finished electric vehicles, we can still end up relying on the parts that make them affordable, especially batteries. Here's the simple truth. Even if the US blocks Chinese EVs, we can still end up relying on Chinese EV parts because the real advantage isn't just the car, it's the battery and the low-cost components that make the price drop. And once supply chains start routing that way, it's likely they will stay that way. Contracts get signed, factories get built, systems lock in. So basically, we could be in a position where we are relying on Chinese parts if we don't find a way to make and sell our own, forcing automakers to innovate and lower the price. 5. Assembled vehicles from other countries. Here's the simple version. Many people don't know that America imports millions of vehicles from Mexico each year. When the US blocks electric vehicles, companies get smart and resourceful. They just look for another way in. And in North America, that other way is Mexico. Now, this is similar to the supply chain we talked about. A vehicle can be assembled in Mexico or another country and still use the same batteries, motors, and parts from China. So to buyers, it looks like the same vehicle from, let's say, BYD, but it was made in Mexico. Now, I'm not saying Mexico will definitely start sending us cars. I'm only stating that China has other options around the tariffs. 6, their vehicles have good reviews. So we don't have enough data in America to determine how reliable BYD vehicles are officially. But based off of online reviews, it seems to be a reliable vehicle, at least from the short to medium time frame. They also have a good support system as far as repairs and a healthy supply chain across East Asia. So I can confidently say that they aren't junk anymore. That shift has already happened. Many manufacturers in China have become a serious global players with EV and hybrid tech that's genuinely competitive and good build quality. Now, I won't say they are flawless. I did find some complaints with some of the tech in their cars, but nothing that some of the American manufacturers have as well. The real question right now is the longevity of the vehicles and service network across seas, but only time will tell for sure. So for now, they seem to give the best value for the amount of features you get compared to other electric vehicles. Reason 7, the market always wins, and that's the point. So here's the real story. This isn't just about one deal or one country. It's about affordability and availability moving closer to home. Once people see cheaper transportation is possible, it's hard to unsee it. Even if buying across the border isn't practical, the idea alone changes expectations. At that point, the question stops being if things shift, it becomes how fast. And that's why I believe more people will be in these electric vehicles in the coming years. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture a little more clearly, hit the like button. It really does help more people find this conversation. And I genuinely want to hear from you, so drop a comment and tell me what you think. Do you see electric vehicles becoming unavoidable, or do you think the US holds the line? I will read all of your thoughts, and a lot of what we talk about here starts with those conversations. If you want more honest, no-nonsense tech talks like this, consider subscribing. I'm Clara Neumann. Thanks for spending your time with me. We'll keep asking the questions that actually affect real life. I'll see you next time.